Okay, you are live.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the City Finance Committee meeting of January 24, 2022. I'm calling the meeting to order at 4:01 p.m. Madam Clerk, please go ahead and read meeting procedures.
Thank you. Assembly Bill 361 suspends certain provisions of the Brown Act, allowing public meetings like this one to be held by teleconference to help prevent the spread of COVID-19. At this time, I will conduct roll, and I would ask the chair to recognize me afterward to confirm certain matters for the record. Vice Chair Safar.
Here.
And Chair Barros.
Here.
Thank you. Based on the responses to roll call, the record should reflect that all committee members can hear the proceedings clearly. And if there are no objections, the record will further reflect that each committee member believes, based on voice or facial recognition, that the persons representing themselves to be committee members are in fact committee members.
Yes.
Seeing no objection, thank you. I will turn the meeting back over to the chair with a reminder that all votes must be taken by roll call.
Let's go to item number 2, public comment or written communication. At this time, members of the public are encouraged to address the Finance Committee on any item not already included in tonight's agenda. Members of the public who are participating via Zoom will have the opportunity to make comments to the Finance Committee live through the Zoom application. Comments should not exceed 3 minutes. No committee action can be taken at this meeting on issues raised during the public comment, whether submitted by email or Zoom. To comment, please click the raise your hand button or *9 on your telephone to request to speak. When it is your turn, you will be unmuted to make your comment for up to 3 minutes. After the allotted time, you will then be remuted. Written comments submitted were provided to the committee prior to the start of this meeting and made a part of the public record. Written public comment will no longer be read aloud during the meeting. Now I open the public comment. Madam Clerk, any public comments?
We do have one request to speak.
Okay, let's see who is that. Okay, call user number 1.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, so because of the fact that we have a lot of turnover of the council members, and this very important committee is now led by very new council members, I, as a resident, don't really have the confidence in the financial reports that have been rendered by the Finance Committee in the past meetings. I have caught there were conflicting information, and the council members have failed to question and verify the information submitted. And oftentimes, what is approved in this committee doesn't get scrutinized again in city council meetings because it is passed as a blanket agenda under consent agenda. So I'm wondering about 2 things. Number 1, does our finance committee get audited? And number 2, has the council members ever asked for the specific numbers that the finance committees are talking about in the report to be backed with their accounting spreadsheets and reports? And also, I don't like the practice of the reporter is not the one who prepared the accounting documents. It makes the presenter sort of just winging it sometimes because they don't really have the exact numbers. So I would like the council members to please demand the reports to be presented by people who had prepared the financial documents. Thank you.
Okay, with that, I don't see any other hands raised. So with that, I'm closing the public comment. Next item, item 3, approval of minutes. 3.1, Finance Committee regular meeting, December 13, 2021, 5:15 p.m. meeting minutes.
I can move to approve the minutes.
I can second. So
You should get a roll call very quickly. Vice Chair Zafar
Yes.
and Chair Veros.
yes,
Thank you.
so 2-0. Next, item number 4, unfinished business. There is none. So we are going to the next one. Item number 5, new businesses. 5.1, City of San Ramon quarterly investment report by staff report by Candace Daniels, Finance Division Manager for period ending December 31, 2021.
Good afternoon, everyone. You have before you the quarterly investment report for December 31st, 2021. It is a state law requirement that the council review the quarterly investment at least on a quarterly basis. So moving on to the fiscal analysis, we had a balance of $3.7 million in our Chase Bank, which is there for daily operations. The total portfolio, which is managed by FHN Financial, totaled $64.8 million. That was made up of $34.4 million in federal agency securities, 13.1 in treasury securities, 3.1 million in supranationals, 6 million in corporate notes, 4.7 million in FDIC insured CDs, 1 million in municipal bonds, and 2.5 million in commercial paper. The weighted average yield to maturity on the portfolio is 1.19%, and the weighted average days to maturity was 735 days, which is 57 days longer than the previous quarter. Interest rates remain the same as the previous quarter. So the city also has a money market that is held with US Bank, and that the funds in the money market total 1.2 million. That's 1.7% of the entire portfolio. And the interest rate of the money market is 0.01%. So basically receiving nothing on interest. We also have 4.6 million that is invested with LAIF. And that's also available for immediate use if we need it. That is 6.5% of the portfolio. And the interest rate for there is 0.20%. The investments held by trustees, that report is prepared by staff. We had 4.5 million. Majority of it was the 2019 certificates of participation, that debt was taken out for specific infrastructure projects, which is 3.6 million, and the 0.9 million, the 900,000 is other city debt. So that's all that I have. Are there any questions?
Thank you. Vice Chair Jaffer, any questions to staff?
I don't have any questions. Thank you.
Okay, then let's open for the public comment. Public comment is open now. Let me see if anybody is raising. Okay, looks like call user number 1, please. Go ahead.
It's quite amazing that, the council members always just let the staff reports go without any questions. I'm wondering, council members, do you know what is the supranationals that Ms. Daniels just reported to you? What is supranationals that we have a few millions in? Are those crypto coins?
They are not.
Also, I'm wondering, Ms. Daniels, when does your department plan to adjust all these earnings and numbers by the inflation? Because of such severe inflation that we're experiencing right now, all these numbers should really be adjusted to reflect inflation, because a lot of your investments are people's retirement funds. Technically, at this time, all of our city employees are running at about a 7% negative by the time they retire, what is supposed to be for them at this number really is not what it looks like. It's 7% less. So I strongly encourage you to please advise the council members next time in your report, what is the inflation, impact? How is the inflation impacting all of our city investment and operating numbers? Thank you.
Any other public comments? I don't see any other hands raised. So now I close the public comment. Vice Chair Jaffer, any discussion on this? Further discussions?
I don't. Thank you, Candace, again for a very detailed report, and appreciate you always bringing this in front of the committee.
Thank you.
Thank you, Candace. And I think there is no action on this one, right? Just accept the report.
Right, and it's going to council tomorrow to be approved by resolution.
Perfect. Sounds good. Thank you. Thank you very much. So with that, we'll go to the item number 5.2, California Employers Benefit Trust, CERBT, for the period ending December 31, 2021. Staff report by Candace Daniels again, Finance Division Manager. Please go ahead.
Thank you. So this is for informational purposes. This is just to let you know where we are with our balance that for our other post-employment benefits. So in this trust, we had a balance at the end of December of 39.5 million. The earnings, we had really good earnings of 1.5 million and expenses of 8.7 million, leaving us an ending balance of 41 million at December 31st. So at the last actuarial valuation that we received had a measurement date of June 30th, 2020. The OPEB liability was 34.1 million, which at that time meant that the city was 96% funded. So now with the current ending balance, of course, we're more than 100% funded because we have $41 million. So we're well funded on our other post-employment benefits for retirees. Are there any questions?
So now that we're 100% funded, what does that mean? Do we contribute less, or do we continue to contribute the same percentage we have been?
So what we've been doing, we haven't been making the annual required contributions in a few years since we got up to 100%. So all we've been doing is just paying the medical expenses on a monthly basis. So we just continue paying those, but no extra contributions. And like I said, the measurement date was June 30th, 2020, that we had that actuarial done, and it was finished, I believe, in September. So it's due, we'll do another one. It's due every other year. So the next time we do one, we'll see actually where we are at that time. We may not be 100% funded at that time because things do change.
Okay.
Sounds good. I'll open for public comment. Now public comment is open. I see call in user 1. Please go ahead.
Chair Rose, why is it that you ignore my question to Ms. Daniels last time? At the last item, I had already asked her a question. What is supranationals? And you don't tell her to please answer my question. I don't know what's the point of public participation if you intend to, ignore me.
As I mentioned in my early public comment section, that in this public comment we are not going to respond, but you can always email or for further inquiry about your questions. We are glad to answer all your questions.
You guys don't respond to anything. Per Brown Act, I have the right to participate during the meeting, and that is now. So I had asked a question, and by law, you're supposed to answer that question. What is supranationals? Are those crypto coins, or are they RMB from communist China? What is supranationals that we have $3.1 million in? Please answer my question. That is by Brown Act. You're supposed to answer my question.
Okay, so in the public comment, we don't need to answer you on this call. Please feel free to
You do.
email, or we
You
can
do. That is
ask
what
you.
public question. That
Yeah.
is what public comment is. Per
Yeah, so-
agenda item, you are required to answer my question. When it's not agenda'd, you're right. But when it's agenda'd, you're supposed to answer my question. Please check Brown Act. You are confused. This is an agenda item. You need to answer my question now.
Do you have any further questions? No, okay. So if no question, then is there any other public comment? No? Okay, I'm closing the public comment at this point. Vice Chair Jaffer, any other further discussion on this item?
I don't have any other further questions on this.
That's great. Thank you very much. We will go to the next item, 5.3. Question, the item 5.3 is Parts Pension Stabilization Trust Statement for the period ending December 31, 2021. Once again, staff report by our Finance Division Manager, Candace Daniels.
Thank you. So this is also for informational purposes. This is the PARS Pension Stabilization Trust that was established a few years ago to help kind of like cushion us against the continued, the rates going up at CalPERS. So we would have some resources to pull from if necessary. So at the beginning of October, we ended with a balance of 5.1 million. We had investment earnings of about 160,000, expenses of 6.7 million, leaving an ending balance of 5.2 million at December 31st. Are there any questions on this?
Any questions, Vice Chair Jaffer?
I don't.
So, Candace, I have one question regarding, is this the same trust that we are talking about, Trust 115?
Yes, it's the PARS 115 trust, pension trust.
That's great. And also one more question. If we have additional funds, can we use these funds for in future, just if there is a shortage in our employee benefit trust, can we use these funds for that?
No, it's just strictly for pension.
Only for pension.
Yes.
Okay, with that, I'll open public comment. Public comment is now open. I see call in user 1. Please go ahead.
Well, since you're not going to answer my question, I'm just going to assume that the expenses of $7,635 was some sort of kickbacks that the city paid off some employees, because it is not explained, and you're not going to explain, so I can assume that it's probably kickbacks. And the investment earnings of $159,387, since you don't explain that, what kind of investment it is for, we can probably assume that it is in some sort of communist Chinese real estate earnings, right? Thank you.
Yeah, just for benefit of the caller, you can always request this information. You can email our staff and we will respond to your emails for clarification. Okay, are there any other public comments? I don't see any other hands up. So with that, I'm closing the public comment and we'll accept the report. There is no further action on this item. So with that, item 6, committee member comments. Vice Chair Jaffer, any comments?
Yeah, so I just, the comment I want to make is one, Candace has, and staff provides us these very detailed reports. You can actually go and look at all the, details and what's written up in all of this, where this investment is happening. All of this is public information. All of this is available and part of this report as well, if you want to go into detail. So government, obviously, funds and entities are not something which is our personal investment. So they are invested by very strict guidance, which is set for our city and pretty much all the cities in the US. So just want, to make sure that people are aware that these are strict guidelines. It's, I am not an expert on this. Obviously, Kelly and Candace are, but this is not generally things like crypto, and we may be putting our money there, but I don't think government funds can be invested in things which are not regulated very strictly. So just want to make that comment. The other one is around logistics. We've had this finance committee meeting, sometimes at 4 p.m., sometimes at 4:30, and sometimes at 5, depending on schedule changes. And so just wanted to put it out there that, I don't know, Chair Veros, if this time works for you. So far it works for me fine, but I know with the full-time job, I've had to ask to be rescheduled. So just wanted to make sure we're kind of on the same page.
Sounds good. Thanks for brief notes on the finance guidelines that are being used for city funds and all the requirements. Also, definitely the documents that are part of this whole meeting pretty much presents every detail. And to be specific on crypto, I don't think we still government have any guidelines on that. So I don't think we have any kind of crypto investment as of now. So for sure, I know that. But yeah, for your comment regarding 4 o'clock, this can be a little early for me. But at this point, we can continue with 4 p.m. We'll see if I have to adjust, then I'll work on that with you, Vice Chair Jaffer. So with that, thank you very much. With that, I'm adjourning the call. The next finance meeting is scheduled for February 7th, 2022 at 4 p.m.